careful with this thing. During Lent, we'll be singing from the Psalms to a familiar tune, and we will also be, for the doxology, be singing the Gloria Patri, or the Glory be to the Father. So I invite you to remain seated as we sing together from Psalm 104. The first psalm. The truly happy person doesn't follow wicked advice, doesn't stand on the road of sinners, and doesn't sit with the disrespectful. Instead of doing those things, these persons love the Lord's instruction, and they recite God's instruction day and night. They are like a tree replanted by streams of water, which bears fruit at just the right time, and whose leaves don't fade. Whatever they do succeeds. That's not true for the wicked. They are like dust that the wind blows away. And that's why the wicked will have no standing in the court of justice. Neither will sinners in the assembly of the righteous. The Lord is intimately acquainted with the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked is destroyed. This is the word of God to the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
The Psalter was the ancient prayer book, ancient hymn book of both Israel and the early church. And oft times we neglect it, both in preaching and other aspects of the church. And so that's why during this Lenten season, I want us to look at a few of the Psalms just a little bit closer. And I know y'all can recite the 23rd Psalm. You've heard it ad nauseam, infinitum, something like that. But did you realize there's 149 others? Well, you just heard one and you sang another. This is the season in Lent. And the psalm that I just read, the first psalm, speaks to us and the condition in which we find ourselves. And I want to share just a little snippet from one of John Wesley's greatest hits, a sermon titled Self-Denial. And it was written on February 17th, 1755. The denying ourselves and the taking up our cross in the full extent of the expression is not a thing of small concern. It is not expedient only, as are some of the circumstantials of religion, but it is absolutely, indispensably necessary, either to our becoming or continuing to be his disciples. It is absolutely necessary in the very nature of the thing to our coming after him and following him, insomuch that as far as we do not practice it, we are not his disciples. If we do not continually deny ourselves, we do not learn of him, but of other masters. If we do not take up our cross daily, we do not come after him, but after the world, or the prince of the world, or our own fleshly mind. If we are not walking in the way of the cross, we are not following him. We are not treading in his steps, but going back from, or at least wide of, him. 260 years ago, Wesley wrote those words, and they are just as relevant today as they were when he first offered them. The psalm that we read predates the words of Wesley by a good 2,500 years. So here we are. When you think of Lent, what do you think of? Do you think of giving up chocolate? I know Glennis says no. Do you give up something you shouldn't be doing in the first place? Is it something that only super Christians attempt? Or only something that has about as much relevance as New Year's resolution? The truly happy person doesn't follow wicked advice, doesn't stand on the road of sinners, and doesn't sit with the disrespectful. When the psalmist penned those words, or first put them to parchment, Israel had already existed for some number of years. And the people of Israel thought, and their leaders explained it to them, that they were special, that they were somehow above reproach and beyond the affairs of the world. Justo Gonzalez, a Latin American theologian, wrote a wonderful little book called Christ Outside the Gates, in which he explained that the Christian walk, the Christian experience, was not limited to a time or a place or a way of life, but was to be lived, in fact, in the midst of the world, because that's where Christ did his work. The verse I just read to you, the truly happy person. How many of you, honestly, consider yourselves to be happy people? Okay? Some of you are not sure. In what respect? That's an inside joke, sorry. Why not? Why are not all Christians happy people? Well, the fact is, some of us are sick. Some of us are in pain, emotionally or spiritually. For some, the very idea of taking up their cross and following Christ is redundant because their life is already hard enough. And how does denying myself supposed to make me happy? You see, the thoughts keep going through my head right now. And it's hard to grasp onto one long enough. Because this Lenten season is about more than giving up. It's about being with Christ in his journey. You know, when I got up this morning, I had all kinds of wonderful things I was going to say. Really, I mean, you should come here about 5:30. They're really good. Yes. But as I was just reading this and looking out upon you, it occurred to me that the psalmist and Wesley were speaking about the same thing. Because the psalmist said, instead of doing the things you're not supposed to be doing, you think about God. You think about doing what is pleasing to God. You are like a tree, not planted, replanted by streams of water, which bears fruit at just the right time, whose leaves don't fade. You hear what the psalmist is saying? You have the potential to be eternal. Now, Lent is about bringing our relationships, our thoughts, our attitudes, our lifestyles back into harmony with God's love, with God's purpose. It is not about what somebody else is or isn't doing, but it is about what God is saying to you. Are you thinking about the things of God? Are you committed to following God's will? Now, there are all kinds of trees. I have no idea how many different types of trees there are. But I dare say they don't exceed the number of different kinds of people. You see, I'm feeling really passionate about this. And I'm not sure how best to put it into words. The Christian walk is not intended to be a burden. It is not meant to say, as the gunnery sergeant at chaplain school said, you're all going to hell? Let's turn to 1 Thessalonians and find out why. Because that's how we've approached religion for so long. We've been told how stupid we are, how evil we are, how incomplete we are. And we cheat God by saying, yes, I know you love the whole world, that you sent your only Son, but not even Christ could save me. When we say to God, I trust you, but I know you can do amazing things. I mean, you created whales and banana slugs and all kinds of stuff in between. But you made a mistake when you made me. Because that's what we bought into. We bought this lie that the world has tried to sell, and we have been merchants in that lie. That God doesn't love you. We sit in churches every week around the world, and we hope we don't get struck by lightning for lying to God. We say the Lord's Prayer, but we're hoping God is dozing off when we get to the part, "Thy will be done." You see, the psalmist doesn't say, if you are a church member, you are perfect. I once saw a sign that said, the church is not a hotel for saints, but a hospital for sinners. And we buy into this belief that, yes, I'm redeemed and I'm loved and yada, yada, yada. But I hope it's true. During this season of Lent, as you approach the rest of this day, if God has blessed you with a tomorrow, I hope you'll wake up and say, today, I'm going to try more. I may not be perfect, but my God is. I may not have all the answers, but I'm willing to ask the questions. I may not be all the world to my neighbor, but my neighbor is all the world to me. You see, we get to a passage like the Psalms, and we put it on a pedestal, like it's somehow, ooh, it's the Psalms. It's all from David. Wow. We whisper around it, forgetting that the psalmist had bad days, and they had bad hair, or they had too much of this or not enough of that. You read all 150, and some of the psalms say, oh, let's just tiptoe through the tulips, and everything will be hunky-dory. And you're having one of those, there's crud stuck between your toes, and, you know, you want to go eat worms because the world just, I'm trying to figure out the next word I can say in church. Anyway, moving on. It's not a good day. And then you get to one of those songs where you are just on fire for the Lord. And you get to one of those songs that say, woe is me. And you get to those songs that talk about the praise of God. And you're wondering, does God exist? The Psalter contains human emotion. It contains our thoughts and our fears and our hopes and our dreams. But all of that is done in the presence and in the service of God. Because the God who celebrates and rejoices over the birth of a child is the same God who is there at the death of a nameless soul. The same God that created the universe created you. I don't want you to be afraid of Lent.